Ami Kolembai, Director of Basic and Secondary Education, said since the establishment of ECOWAS in 2003, the regional economic bloc has provided community citizens with greater access to quality education and training in member countries.
This can be justified in the areas of working towards the plight of girls, women and vulnerable people, such as child policy and sexual harassment policy, in which the gender division of ECOWAS is responsible for, and for child protection policy, for which the disaster management division is responsible.
Mbai revealed that the complexity of this issue preventing girls from accessing schools and reaping the full benefits of education requires diverse partnership and collaboration among key players.
It is gratifying to note that the various interventions aimed at promoting education of girls are yielding dividends. Using 2006 as the baseline year and 2009 as the target year, statistics from the database of UNESCO Institute for Statistics revealed an increase in GER, gross enrollment rate, at primary level in 10 out of 12 reporting countries.
This high-level meeting identified problems affecting girls' education and exchanged best practices with a view to achieving gender parity in the year 2015. For GRTS News, I am Fatoumata Simaha.
Well, that report there by Fatoumata Simaha takes us to our first break. When we come back, we'll take a look at the international. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. The Boston Marathon is one of the most prestigious athletic events in the world. And this year, 27,000 people from 96 countries registered to take part. Most finished, but many did not, as a bomb ripped through the race. Now the bombing have changed the race's legacy forever. CNN recaps how the events unfolded.
Just this huge pile of smoke, and then it sounded like a huge cannon went off, and then another one just happened right across from us, and it was just this huge explosion, and there's just debris everywhere.
A big, huge explosion while we were having lunch, and everybody ran for the doors and windows, and we were sheltered under tables.
When it hit the elevator shook the whole building. It was quite a blast. 2 of them scared the hell out of us.
These explosions occurred 50 to 100 yards apart, and each scene resulted in multiple casualties.
Explosion looked like it was right outside the Marathon Sports, right by the finish line there, the building next to it.
We have seen at least 6 people come in. You can see some of the people coming in on stretchers. They've got that shiny foil wrapped around them. Some of them, I suspect, are runners. Some of them may have just been bystanders. We don't really know because this all happened close to the medical tent, and as you know, they have those foil wraps.
Many people injured, and those injuries are severe. There was a lot of blood left at the scene.
We helped low casualties. We're picking them up, putting pressure on wounds. A lot of people were hurt. We just threw them, ran as fast as we could down here to get blood. They were banged up bad. Severe lacerations, amputees, a lot of shrapnel. They were pretty big explosions.
We still do not know who did this or why. And people shouldn't jump to conclusions before we have all the facts. But make no mistake, we will get to the bottom of this. And we will find out who did this. We'll find out why they did this. Any responsible individuals, any responsible groups will feel the full weight of justice.
Meanwhile, investigators are closely monitoring forensic evidence to find out who is responsible for the attack, which left 3 people dead and more than 150 others injured. CNN's Pentagon correspondent Barbara Starr explains what the investigators are looking for.
military is assisting, Christy, from the standpoint that they have years of experience in Iraq and Afghanistan at looking at bomb blasts, collecting forensic evidence, and analyzing it. In fact, for years, they've been doing that in conjunction with the FBI. And what they're looking for is the so-called signature of the bomb. You know, a bomb maker puts together a bomb generally the same way every time, and when they train other bomb makers, they train them how to put a bomb together in the way that they would. That's essentially the signature. What kind of components? How are they assembled? What kind of explosives? Fuse, detonator, all of that. Where could the materials possibly have come from? These are the things that will begin to give them clues whether it was homegrown terrorism, domestic violence in the United States, or possibly attackers from another country, foreigners with a foreign motive, not directly related to domestic terrorism. So these are the kinds of things that they're looking for. What we know is right now, the official word is that the FBI isn't leaning either way, domestic or overseas perpetrators, but they may begin within the coming hours and days to very quickly be able to assemble that signature, and that may begin to give them very valuable clues. Christy?
So right now they're looking at the bomb signatures on the devices themselves, hints about assembly, parts, construction. What about the bomb site itself, Barbara? How will the venue be analyzed?
Well, they will look at everything in terms of when the bomb went off. You know, where is the blast pattern? Where is the damage in the buildings surrounding it? They will look at the video, match up where the damage occurred. That will begin to give them a much better idea of the energy, if you will, that blast energy. You can look at that video, you know, we look at it as civilians and it looks like a huge cloud of explosives and destruction to us, but what they want to know is something much more specific. What was the energy, the blast wave that caused the damage? That will begin to give them a much better idea of the size of the bomb and just how sophisticated it might have been.
As the North Koreans celebrated their country's 101st anniversary on Monday, South Koreans stormed the streets of Seoul protesting against Pyongyang and burning effigies of the three generations of the North Korean leadership. Now, early this morning, Pyongyang issues a threat saying their retaliatory action will start without any notice from now. CNN's Anna Karen has the latest updates on how Seoul is responding to the threat.
Christy, yesterday on the streets of Seoul there were protests. About 100 people took to the streets burning effigies of Kim Jong-un, his father and grandfather. And you have to remember that this is a particularly important day on the North Korean calendar. It is the anniversary of the birth of Kim Il-sung, the founder of North Korea, which is why Pyongyang took such offence. So that angry rhetoric coming out of North Korea this morning saying there will be retaliatory action without notice. To put this into context, Christy, in light of everything we've heard in the past month, this is actually toned down language. I know to the outside world it may not seem like that, but certainly for people here in South Korea it is toned down. The Unification Ministry here in Seoul has said that the words out of Pyongyang are regrettable, but that is where it stands at the moment, Christy.
Interesting context there. Despite this latest rhetoric, bellicose words from North Korea, it seems that the tension is starting to ease in the Korean peninsula. I also want to get your thoughts, Anna, on this event that happened near the North Korean border today. A U.S. Marine helicopter crashed. Any more details on this incident?
Yeah, details are pretty sketchy. What we do know is that this U.S. Marines helicopter did crash. It's called a Super Stallion helicopter. It crashed close to the DMZ. There were 21 people on board. 6 people have been taken to hospital but are in a stable condition. That's what we're hearing. Now, the U.S. Marines who were on board this chopper, they are normally stationed out of Okinawa in Japan, and they were obviously taking part, I should say, in these joint military exercises that are being held between the United States and South Korea. It's the exercises that have been going on now for almost 2 months. They'll wrap up at the end of this month. So that is what we know about this helicopter crash, and certainly it is under investigation, Christy.
And before we go, reminder of our headlines. President Jammeh has warned cabinet members that his government will not accept any form of treasury as he presides over the opening of the 7th cabinet retreat in Kanilai. Stakeholders in the information communication technology sector